dream killer tonight.
Reunited, and it didn't feel so good. We all remember the drama when Anthony Davis tried and failed to leave the Pelicans midseason, then ultimately got it done over the summer. So we know a lot of folks in the Big Easy are salty. Pelicans fans booed AD relentlessly in his first game against his former team, but Davis got the last laugh, scoring a game-high 41 points.
They said in pregame, we don't want to leave this building without a win. Obviously the emotions was high. Like I said, their emotions was high for them, and they came out and they wanted to get this win. So I think this game was circled on both calendars, and they came out guns blazing, and we was able to come out with the win. But my teammates, kept telling me, "Hey, don't worry about it. We're gonna get this win. We're gonna find a way to win for you," and we did that.
Anytime you go back to a place where you've made a mark and you've started your career, you want to come back and play well and you want to win. So we knew that as his brothers, and we wanted to try to fulfill that goal that he has set.
New Orleans fans should probably boo their own team for letting him get 40 when he come back.
Max, let's call it what it is. Besides LeBron and Kuzma, the whole team basically got traded to New Orleans for Anthony Davis. We know there was going to be a lot of bad blood there. What did you think of his return, dropping 41?
I loved that he was, like, in the first half especially, he was putting on a clinic. Like, he was, like, it was textbook. The things he was doing was, he's just unstoppable, particularly when you have LeBron as your primary ball handler setting him up. Good luck with that. But the fourth quarter was a little quieter, and it was still a game. And the most impressive thing to me, Stephen A., because sometimes AD can be so efficient it can slow up your offense, because you have a tendency to, not just stand around and watch. It's not that kind of party, but to feed him, and he's very efficient, and you keep doing it. But he's scoring 2 points at a time for the most part, and some of the, the offense is not as fluid all the time. It's like the give and take of basketball. But the inbounds that he stole, because early on, Drew Holiday was bombing from three, and they were going back and forth, like Davis with his moves in the inside and Holiday responding with threes. But late in that game, with the game still on the line, AD steals the inbounds. I mean, and like, he comes from a place where, like, you're not supposed to be able to get to that. He is what makes him so special. We see 41 points. The offense, we know he's one of the most efficient scorers ever, really. The defense, he can be in two places at once. He's the first guy I've seen guard the pick and roll, the pick and the roll, like the pick and the roll man and the ball handler. You can see he's doing both at the same time. He's doing that for 5 or 6 years. So to me, Stephen A., the biggest play of the game was that stealing of the inbounds to ice the game. It was probably already over, but to certainly ice the game at the end after a quieter offensive fourth quarter. It just shows you what Davis can do.
First of all, on this particular day, let's point out the fact that the biggest thing that Anthony Davis did was show up. Kyrie Irving, he showed up. He was in the arena, knowing he was walking in the hostile confines with a team that had his back. Because I got news for you. I don't know if you watched Boston go up against Brooklyn last night. Brooklyn showed up. They didn't have enough at the end, but they showed up and they fought, and they would have had Kyrie's back. And obviously he's injured and what have you, so he couldn't be there. But I'm saying Anthony Davis showed up and showed out. Having said all of that, I have some concerns based on what I've seen last night. If you recall, we started off the season. I'm going with the Lakers because I'm thinking about the two-headed monster that is Anthony Davis, who I consider to be a top 5 player on the planet, and LeBron James, who I believe to be the imminent MVP of this league. I think that that's why I have the Lakers. Not that I don't know that the Clippers are the better team. I think the Clippers are the better team. I think they're deeper. I think they play better collectively. I think they're a better defensive team. But here's the thing this is the biggest thing that has alarmed me based off of what I saw last night. 2 things. The Lakers pick and choose when they want to amp it up defensively, whereas the Clippers are coming at you pretty much all the time, okay? Number 2, Anthony Davis's fragility. He had to go out. It ended up not being a serious injury when the guy came under him and the elbow injury. But if you look at Anthony Davis in the last year alone, sore ankle, elbow sprain, right elbow sprain, right hip strain, left index finger, shoulder, back spasms, obviously shoulders, ribs, shoulders, sore right shoulder, shoulder. All of those things in the last year. Yeah. And the reason why that's alarming for me, is because I believe, even though I'm not ignoring the Denver Nuggets, they're one of the best teams in the NBA. They're the number 2 seed in the Western Conference right now. Excuse me. Plus, you'd have to go to the Mile High City to go against them. We can't ignore what we're seeing from a young, vibrant, athletic Denver Nuggets squad. But obviously, we believe it's going to be about the Lakers or the Clippers.
Yeah.
And when I think about the Clippers, here's what I know they believe about Anthony Davis. We know he's one of the top 5 talents in the world. But can he deal with this? When Harold and these boys get at him. And you got to remember what the Clippers do. Because remember, I'm only bringing them up because I believe the Western Conference Finals is going to be a confrontation between the 2 teams. It's going to be at the Staples Center.
Yeah.
Okay? Understand what we're talking about here. We think about offensively, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Lou Williams. What we're missing is that defensively, you add Harold to that mix. It's Harold, Kawhi, Paul George,
And
Patrick Beverley. Okay? And Lou Williams, by the way, I don't know if anybody's noticed, he's been playing better defense.
He has been.
And so because of,
That's been going on for a couple of
that's
years,
right,
by the way.
But especially now, because they got it. So understand something. And all of them are physical defenders. They get up in you. So I'm looking at Anthony Davis, and my lone question about him is the physicality that they're going to throw in his direction. A, is he going to stay healthy? And B, even if he is healthy, are you going to be able to deal with his
What about
caliber?
LeBron having to play all those
I'm not worried
minutes?
about LeBron.
But the wear and tear
I
of
am.
just playing
I
every
am.
single game at 35
I'm not worried about
years
LeBron.
old.
I am, and I'm glad you brought that up. When you deride the idea of load management, Stephen A., let's say Anthony Davis, let's just say it worked out that the way his injuries panned out, he winds up playing 60 games this season. But the Lakers obviously make the playoffs, one of the best records in the conference, and he's available for the playoffs at more or less full strength. You would say that's a success, right? Like,
Yes.
that's what you hope for. That's why they load manage Kawhi.
Yeah.
That's why, because load management means we are content with our superstar playing 60-plus games, but maybe not 70, and in so doing, we will have him himself by the time the playoffs roll around. That's
Yes,
the point in load management.
Yeah,
Let's try not to leave it up to luck.
But I roll with my man, Jeff Van Gundy, who decried load management on national television last night and talked about how the regular season has been devalued by the league, the players, and the media. Jeff Van Gundy made a very profound point.
I believe Coach is
Jeff.
wrong. I believe Coach is wrong about that.
Yeah, and I don't.
All right.
I believe he's
We
absolutely
got to
on the
leave it
money.
there. Load management aside, though, that Clippers mentality